G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an automatic carbine based on a real-life prototype weapon called the M1944 Hyde carbine, which I can only explain like this. This is the result of when a Thompson submachine gun and a Browning automatic rifle love each other very much. And you can see just where it gets its Thompson genes from. It looks very much like that. But we're firing the big 30 caliber rounds from the munitions mod. So this thing was designed in 1944, obviously, by one George Hyde to be a light rifle replacement for the US military, but they found it was too expensive to manufacture and it's too heavy to be used as a light rifle. So nope, into the bin with this one. Sorry George, your weapon's not quite what they're looking for. So into the history books it went, and here it is in Fallout 4 as a prototype or a full thing that was made, who knows. Let's find out what this thing has for attachments. First of all, we've got the receivers, and you can make this thing powerful receiver. I believe this thing is only in automatic fashion, so 135 damage is a pretty good start for this thing. These are 30 caliber rounds. They are 7.62, but they're a little bit shorter than the standard NATO rounds. So I'm glad to see that reflected in a little bit more damage than what you'd see out of a standard intermediate cartridge assault rifle from the vanilla game, for example. So that's cool. Next, we've got the barrels. So we've got a standard barrel right now. We can have a short one on this. Presumably, this would increase our effectiveness in VATS, but at the cost of range and accuracy. There's also ported ones for helping control recoil. There's also a longer barrel and a ported variant of that. The ported ones have these heat shields at the top there, so you don't burn your fingers if you handle this thing improperly. So that's nice, a good safety feature, and we get a bunch of range and extra accuracy out of this thing. So over range, it'll be performing a little bit better using this, but it will be slightly less effective in VATS. So the AP cost will be slightly higher, but that's okay, that's fine. We're going to have that more accuracy in VATS over range, even if it does cost more AP to fire. Next, we've got the stocks. We've got a short stock on now, which appears to be no stock at all. But this makeshift one can sort of tie in well with a bunch of the pipe guns, but yeah, fitting in with the post-apocalyptic Fallout world, I think that one suits it pretty well. You can have a full stock, a gunslinger stock, which has a little bit of a pouch on the side, and a recoil compensating stock, which has that thing, which helps control recoil somehow. Who knows how, but that's interesting. So this one, better aim with scopes. That's your marksman's barrel though. So if you want to put a scope on this thing, equip that one and you have less scope sway. Next, we've got magazines. We've got a standard one right now, but you can have a quick eject variant of that. And the quick eject ones have these ones, presumably for ejecting them quicker or just grabbing onto it quicker and being able to reload this thing faster. There's also options for mediums, and there's also large magazines. No massive drum magazines on this thing, so it's going to look fairly vanilla in terms of how you might expect to see one of these in real life. Nothing too crazy. And next, we've got the sights. Got standard sights on right now, which look a little bit like that. Just a ring and a front post at the front to zero in your aim. It's a pretty cool iron sight setup. There's also glowing variants of that, which give you a full ghost ring, which is really, really cool. And there's also the DAC reflex sight and hollow scope, and depending on whether you want to see the scope of the actual reticle closer or further away, that's the one you pick. There's also options for a short scope and a medium scope as well. No options for a long scope, which is fine because as an automatic rifle, you probably won't get too much use out of that. Medium is kind of pushing it, but it does give you a little bit of extra range accuracy should you need it. A bit of tap fire accuracy over a distance, that's always nice to have. Let's go for a holographic sight on this one, just for all-around close quarters VATS performance. And now we'll move on to the muzzles. We've got a flash hider, which you can't see right now, so I'll just quickly swap maybe the stock off so we can see the end of the barrel. Yes, we'll do that. And the muzzles, you get a flash hider, which hides your flash. Worse AP cost, but it'll increase your range by adding a nominal little bit to the end of your barrel. That's helpful. A compensator for recoil control. This thing does kick a little bit, so there's an option. There's a argument to actually equipping these muzzle brakes and things. There's also a muzzle booster, which will increase your rate of fire at the cost of accuracy, of course, and a little bit of range, but that's going to make you fire much faster. So a good DPS boost, but this thing might get on top of you fairly quickly with its recoil should you do that. And there's another recoil control element. And lastly, a suppressor. With Ace Operator, 169 damage is going to be very, very good. We've also got a legendary effect slot thanks to legendary modification. Skip over that. And your standard range of DAX extraneous attachments, including a flashlight, targeting laser and a VATS targeting module. You've all seen this one before, so we'll just go for a cool targeting laser there. It tracks targets. It'd be cool if that increased your hipfire accuracy as well, but I suppose that would be leaning a little bit too much towards the tactical side of Fallout mods, and maybe, just maybe, people don't want to see that, but there's arguments that that should be able to increase your hipfire accuracy for a little bit of a laser pointer. Anyways, that's our automatic carbine. Not hiding now, is it? Let's go and find this thing out in the world and make a few more to fulfill different roles. Let's go. The Hyde Carbine is injected onto the level list at level 16. Minuteman, Triggerman, shops, gunners, you'll find this thing. And also you'll find the ammunition in the shops sometimes. We're looking for 30. Is it point 30? Yeah, there it is. Not much in it, but, you know, there's 7 bullets there. Also, this is a munitions thing, and they've made all of these really cool ammo boxes as well with a bear on it. It'd be cool if there was like a 2-headed bear wrote in there with a Sharpie, but we'll take those 7 bullets. They're kind of stingy with, Oh, I broke the shop. There's also a unique variant of the Hyde Carbine called the Freedom Fighter, which is sold by Ronnie Shaw at the Minuteman. So grab that, you get the Furious Legendary effect. Very, very effective on automatic weapons. So, yep, we'll take that. Thank you. 440 caps is nothing. Also, do you have any ammunition for it at all? You've got 30. Thanks. I didn't break the shop this time. Okay, we're back at Immersive Gunners Plaza. Here is our Hyde Carbine in first person, and it sounds like this when you fire. Thompson submachine gun vanilla game sounds, which is a curious choice for a 30 caliber round, but what have you. And the recoil is fairly predictable, of course. There's a little bit of camera shutter as you're firing to help simulate that recoil, but I'm not really having to fight this other than the screen shake during automatic fire. So here's what it looks like in third person. Pretty cool. You can see the charging handle reciprocates in first person, but not in third. And there's no ejection port opening. Just don't worry about it. It's fine. The animations are probably very old anyway. Anyway, so here is our sniper status version. We've got the medium scope, which if you crouch, decides not to have any scope sway, which is good. And when you fire this thing, honestly, it's not too bad. And looks like there's some sort of bug over there he's being shot at, so he dies. Next, we've got this one, a minimalist style short ported barrel no stock and a reflex sight made for doing nothing but firing at close range. Yeah, this one's going to be slightly better optimized towards that, so we might be able to get some good use out of this in close quarters. There's the bash animation. And lastly, we've got Freedom Fighter, which I've got a muzzle booster on because it's Furious and I want to really capitalize on the Furious Legendary effect, so why not? I've also got the cool Ghost Ring glow sights there, which they're awesome. I love that. Next, no, we've already been through everything. Next, we kill. We're going to kill everything. I'm going to start off just by having a little couple of cheeky little cheap shots at the gunners with this thing over distance. So we're sneaking right now, so we'll just hose them down and hopefully the spread and recoil doesn't get too on top of me. A little bit too much hosing just then, but still, we're still getting 200 damage per hit, which is pretty good considering the rate of fire, and now they're coming out. Let's just slow this down a little bit. We're not going to get a whole lot of good shots off when we use this thing as such, but if we tap on the trigger, we can pretend that we're using a sniper rifle, and now we're in danger. Someone got too close to me. And now that we're not getting all of those flattering sneak criticals, we can get a more a realistic view of what this thing's going to do in terms of damage, which is no slouch at all. This thing is actually doing a really good job, and that guy decided to charge at me whilst I was scooping him down, and my oh my, that's a lot of gunners. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run in here, and we're going to give him the biggest gun through streak you've ever seen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wasted critical there. Okay, I was expecting a little bit better for our AP usage, but still we can run up to these guys and hip fire it, and they will not be able to out-heal me. We did pretty well there. Obviously with VATS you've got some of that damage reduction, so we could tank just a little bit whilst we're doing that, and right now is a perfect time for the scope. Just as soon as she stops running around. Could have sworn I reloaded this thing earlier. No matter. So things are going pretty well right now. We're not in real massive trouble. We've been able to dispatch our enemies pretty much as fast as we need to here to keep ourselves afloat in terms of our health bar. So yeah, this thing is definitely doing some pretty good work, and the fact that you get this thing at level 16, that's a pretty neat thing. I don't mind that. I think your most limiting factor is going to be finding ammunition for it, so you know, grab your scrounger perks because you might need it to feed this thing. But if you've got cheap console commands like me, you'll find that you'll have an easy time with this thing. Let's go back over to our holographic sight one. Much better. Very good. There's a cheeky little level up there. Most of the time we've been fighting directly out the front, which is... I don't mind that, but we'll be able to sort of hold our own here and have a glorious last stand out the front, even though it will definitely not be a last stand at this point. But still. Chewing through these guys' health bar with this thing, I gotta say, it's pretty satisfying. Let's go a little bit closer now. Look at that hipfire accuracy with the short barrel setup. Very good. Also got the VATS targeting module, so... Did you see that kind of drop and die? That's gravity for you. We'll be able to generate some of our crits back by shooting this person in the face repeatedly. Strong gunners. You know, they can take these 30 cals in the face for all day, all night. Obviously, it's less impressive when we've got no suppressor because we're not getting the Ace Operator 25% damage boost. But even still, the rate of fire allows this thing to stagger most frequently. So you can sort of neutralize and disarm your opponent's way of attacking you as you're firing for them, even when you're not getting the full brunt of this thing's damage. And now we're back into caution. They should be directly below us. We'll sneak around here. Can't believe I didn't notice him there. I was so determined, so ready to see him climbing up on this fire escape that that wasn't happening. Anyways, let's do a classic door breach maneuver here. Call of Duty slow motion. No. Little bit hard to line up headshots when your target is mostly invisible. But we've done pretty well there. This thing has actually crushed everything, which is great. It's like, I think we're exceeding handmade levels of damage here. Granted, the recoil is going to be a little bit more overbearing than the handmade rifle, and the ammo capacity isn't quite as good. That damage, you can't argue against that. And again, it works with classic holstered weapons. There it is. As an apparel item, it also ticks all the boxes too. Very nice. Okay, there's the Swan. He's fighting a few malcontents over there, so we'll get this started by shooting at the Suicider, and we'll finish it by mag dumping him repeatedly to get all of the furious damage stacking in the world. And as soon as he comes closer, oh, he's in for a bit of a shock. He's not able to dispatch his other foes fast enough for me to stop killing him. Wow, that's crushed him. Shall we do that again? Why not? I want to believe this thing's actually a reference to a Creed song of the same namesake, but it probably isn't, but I'm gonna say that it is. And Dak can't argue the point against me because he's not in the comments. So, yeah, it's a Creed song, Freedom Fighter. It's actually pretty good. That album, I think that album's called Weather. There's actually a couple of good things on it. Probably the worst thing about Creed is it's only got one guitarist, so you can't have like many sick riffs going at the same time during the singing in some of the songs, especially Signs. There's no cool guitars going through the entirety of that song, but Anyways, that's not relevant to this weapon at all. We've crushed the Wendigo with this thing. Big surprise. Let's try something less furious. SEAL team, go. We're doing this from the ocean, and we one-shot rusty power armor man or lady, depending on which gender raider spawned in that thing. Anyways, so let's snipe a little bit. We didn't really get too much of the snipies before, so we'll make up for that just by shooting some raider trash mobs. And we'll keep going. There's one over there. They're not really keen to show themselves. Nope. You get down. And there's one more here. I'm in danger. Kind of. It should be danger in quotations. These guys, they won't touch me. And tell me you're not running at a Milo Queen with a pool cue. Honestly, how did you think that was gonna go? Not like that, of course. Anyways, we'll ignore that they're vertibird fighting the super mutants because, well, that's background noise. What we really want to do is take out this gigantic crab. And you know what? I was gonna activate VATS there, but wasn't quite in range. There we go. 3-round burst at 480 damage for that AP thing. Not too bad. And now we can just keep on shooting him forever and ever. He's gonna have no idea where we are. Unfortunately, since this thing can't be set to semi-auto, there's no options for like mega sniper knockdowns or anything like that. But regardless of that, we seem to be doing pretty well. Up until the point where I almost got my ass kicked in 2 shots. Hang on. 8 criticals over and over. And then reload using VATS. And in the space of 1 node rage and many criticals later, the job is done with a few caps to our name for our troubles. And what is that? Chameleon? I thought I saw a fat man just then. I didn't. Oh, there's the weapon inspect animation, by the way. I never show those off, but I was standing there for long enough to trigger that, so that's cool. Some people are really into those sorts of animations, but you know me, my attention span isn't good enough to stop moving for 5 seconds to observe those animations. Either that or I don't remember. You can take your pick to what I actually mean by that. Okay, let's fight some gigantic lizards, shall we? We can pretend we're playing Helldivers. Do you fight lizards in that game? I don't know. The only way I've been following that game is over the internet discourse, which suggests that it's fallen off dramatically since its inception, which is a little bit of a shame. A small dev team finally getting their big break and then for it to be ruined by a community of people that are ungrateful. Or something like that, who knows. Anyway, so unfortunately for these Deathclaws, absolutely no chance. The 3 of them. Oh. That's from Fallout 3 in New Vegas. It looks like a direct port, actually. Speaking of, there's another one. And lastly, I don't usually check the legendary effects up. Normally you don't push corpses around like that. What the hell is going on here? What? Can I pick it up? No, it's too heavy, but I can boot it around on the ground. And you didn't have any legendary stuff, did you? Well, this is all just very confusing. Anyways, I think you get the idea. So that was the Hyde 30 caliber carbine, and it kind of crushed everything. I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but if you want some serious firepower in your late game and you need, I don't know, you really like this Hyde carbine, maybe you saw that Forgotten Weapons episode on it, and you want to have this in Fallout 4 for yourself, then check out the link in the description. It'll be down there. Do you know Kylie's a follower too? She's pretty cool. She's got an assault rifle. You can give her a Hyde carbine and she'll probably kick ass with it. Speaking of kicking ass, this Chameleon Deathclaw just got it happen to him. Anyways, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. See ya. Go away. Why are you still here? Video's over. Go on. Get.